Marthe Pauwe, you're Chief Impact Officer of Moneyphone. What does Moneyphone do exactly?
Yeah, thank you. Moneyphone, we are a fintech, so we provide the next generation loan origination solutions in emerging markets. We are a software as a service company, so we provide loan origination software to financial institutions, but our motivation and the reason why we exist is the end client, meaning refugees, women, SMEs, farmers in emerging markets. So our software helps the financial institutions to offer their loan products in a faster and cheaper way to the end clients. So they don't need to travel to the branches anymore. They don't need to have complicated procedures for applying for a loan. They can just do it on the phone. And also the loan officers at the financial institutions, they can review the loans and approve them in a digital manner. So this really reduces costs, which comes to the benefit of the end client by reducing the interest rate and having the credit at a faster pace.
Okay, do you have any examples of nice examples of loans that were given?
Yes, for example, in Rwanda we have a product for Irish potato farmers, for carrot farmers and French beans farmers. They applied for the loan based on their digital historical track records. So that means that they are scored based on their previous successful farming. So instead of having collateral like land titles or... Wait, dit moet even opnieuw.
Opnieuw, oké.
Dit gaat niet goed.
Ja, Oké, leningen geven? Nee, leningen verstrekken. Wat is het in het Engels?
Zal ik even dit oplossen?
Nee, dit gaan we toch niet uitzenden in zijn geheel.
Het helemaal in zijn geheel?
Nee joh,
sorry,
ik ga hem knippen. Nee hoor.
Oh.
We doen gewoon die vraag opnieuw.
Okay.
You have any examples?
Yeah. Yes, so in Rwanda and Burundi we do a lot in agri-lending, which is quite difficult because farmers are perceived as risky groups by most financial institutions. So not only we provide our technology and our software, but we also co-create new products that can de-risk groups that are perceived as risky. So, for example, if you work with farmers, we looked at how do they operate. In this case, they are members of cooperatives. So the cooperative can be a guarantor instead of the traditional land title, for example. Or we have now a group of French beans farmers who export to Europe. So they have a contract with an exporter. This is a guarantor. It's a way of de-risking the loan. So we really co-design new products with the financial institutions to serve these risky groups. So, for example, the smaller farmers.
And refugees, how does it work with them?
So for refugees, actually it's quite interesting because we have seen that the portfolio whereby we serve Syrian refugees in Jordan performs better than the, let's say, non-refugee portfolios. So we don't know exactly why, to be honest, but they are paying back better than the non-refugees. The way we serve them is quite similar to any other SME loan because they apply for the loan fully digitally. There's no need to go to the branch. But they do make a picture of themselves with the ID. It can be a UNHCR card next to their face to prove who they are and where they are. And then the usual application applies. They get their loan, do their business, and repay back the loan. And somehow they are performing even better. Maybe it's, you know, if you are for a long time have not been seen and you are suddenly seen, you want to prove that you are worth the trust, let's say.
Yeah. And with farmers, you work with a corporation that can be a guarantor. How does it work with refugees?
It started with a collaboration with Spark, actually. So Spark provided a loan guarantee fund, which was de-risking a part of the loans. This was in 2018 in Jordan. So at the end of the program, we had disbursed around 35,000 euros over the platform to Syrian refugees. And by this, the bank also increases their knowledge of how to serve them and seeing that they were reliable borrowers. And now we are serving over 7 million euros over that platform in 2022. Not only to Syrian refugees, but also to other SMEs from the host community or the national community.
That's interesting. And is that the most important collaboration with Spark?
For us, you mean?
Yeah, for you. Yeah, for you as a money phone. Or I can rephrase. What is your relationship with Spark?
Okay. Yeah. So for us, so in some countries we have a direct sort of commercial relationship with the financial institutions, especially in Latin America. They come to us and they ask, can you digitize this and this loan product for us? But in the more challenging context, such as large parts of Africa, the Middle East, we want to serve groups that are perceived as risky. So we need to jointly, with a development partner such as Spark, convince the financial institutions of the digital opportunities and how to make sure that we leave nobody behind. So it is essential, I would say, to work with development partners such as Spark to kickstart different projects and to create proof of concepts. So for example, with the Irish potato farmers in Rwanda, there was a loan guarantee fund behind it from Spark. There was also business coaching behind it from Spark. So that was really de-risking the farmers. And therefore we could convince, in this case, Equity Bank, to start serving the farmers. Now we are, so that started with 300 farmers in 2019. We are now serving over 1,000 of farmers without the loan guarantee funds. Because we have created a proof of concept. The big bosses, let's say at the bank, they have seen that they are reliable farmers, reliable borrowers. They had an NPL, non-performing loan rate, of less than 2%, which is similar to, or even better than a paper-based loan. So therefore, I think Spark is really essential. De-risking, which can be in terms of guarantees, but it can also be in terms of coaching, business coaching, and making sure the businesses have contracts with off-takers who can then de-risk the loan. Another one is, for example, mentorships. We have one client, and then I mean the financial institution, for whom it is essential that a borrower has a mentor. And then in our software we can we can have a verification model. So I apply for my loan on my phone, and then you, my mentor, gets a text message. Do you know Marthe in this case? And is he a reliable entrepreneur, et cetera, et cetera. But maybe my mentor does not have the means to guarantee my loan, but he or she can say, yes, this is somebody I support and is reliable. So these are also things we can create together with development organizations such as Spark.
So your fintech, it opens new worlds for refugees and people in marginalized societies.
Yes, yeah.
Can you explain what is the advantage of fintech solutions?
Yeah, I think, for example, if you look at the rural population in large parts of Africa, there were no products that fit with their needs. So, for example, it takes 3 to 4 months to get the loan. In our case, it takes 5 days maximum. So 5 days is what they need, because if you didn't put the seed in the soil within those 5 days, the season is over. So if you get your loan later, it's useless. Same as with repayments. They pay back after 6 months, a one-off repayment, because that's when they were able to harvest the produce from the ground. So this is really, I think, what fintechs can help, to serve those people.
Oh, it's incredible. What does it mean for traditional bankers or banking?
Well, I think, for example, in our case, the traditional banks, they have the banking license, which is hard to obtain, and they need to be responsible lenders to make sure that they keep on having that license. So I would say that's the really good thing about the traditional sector. For us, we don't need a license because we give the software to the financial institution. So their license is the one that is responsible for the proper lending. At the same time, of course, it means less branches, less staff, very different dynamics. It also means smaller loans, because now you can serve large volumes, but larger group of people, but smaller loans. While before, many bankers, they were like, give me a few high profile businesses, because I get paid on a commission. So not every loan officer is necessarily happy with this, because we take away part of their work, I would say. At the same time, if they are keen of processing much more loans in the same time period, they are happy. So yeah, I think it's a partnership between traditional financial sector and the fintech world, and not necessarily a conflict.
What works and what does not for Moneyphone, or for the way you support the people?
Yeah, what works really well is to create the proof of concept together with development partners. So our motivation as Moneyphone is, again, the end client. So we want to serve youth, refugees, smallholder farmers, women. We're not interested in serving bigger companies to become bigger. So that we have in common, but therefore we need to create proof of concept. So that means that we need to show, first of all, that marginalized people can apply digitally for a loan. So that means you need to work together on digital literacy, financial literacy, what does the loan need and how are you going to repay it. So that's part of business skill training. And then you need to wait for them to repay. And once they have repaid, you can prove that there was a good repayment. And then you go to the bank and say, look, we have repaid, can we now scale up? And the NGO or development partner can leave us because we have created the proof of concept and we can now grow together. The fintech, Moneyphone in this case, together with the financial institution. So I think that works really well. Kickstarting by development partners, having a proof of concept, and then scale up on a more private sector driven basis.
And what's the hard part?
Well, at the same time, the challenge is a bit that we keep on seeing that the traditional sector is sometimes risk averse, which is not only the bank itself that is risk averse, but even the policies from the national banks are often very risk averse. This is of course because we have seen so many loans going wrong in these kind of countries where people took loans that they could never repay and they end up being more poor. So I do understand it, but at the same time we do need to pilot new products for marginalized group. We need to, test things, and there need to be a bit of space for that. So I think that is a big challenge. And this is also, I think, why many fintechs try to become a direct lender. But then again, you have the challenge of getting the license, which is not easy. So yeah, that I would say is one of the biggest challenges.
Yeah. Today we're at the Ignite conference, and the main theme is reimagine jobs. What's your take on that?
Yeah, reimagine jobs. Well, my dream would be, of course, that anybody can have a job, no matter where you are born, and not just a job to survive, but a job that fits with your talents, that fits with your environment, that gives you purpose in your society. I hope, of course, as Moneyphone, that we contribute to that by giving digital credits for educational loans, business loans, maybe to buy equipment, to start your own tailoring shop, and that by that people are more in control of their own destiny. At the same time, I think we have to be also realistic. It's not easy for everyone to say you can do whatever you want. That's just maybe not the environment. But I do think if we give also digital access to finance, the people have more control and more of their own say in it. I think that would be really encouraging and what I hope, yeah.